How do you deal with the temptation of women?
Today, one of the greatest fears I have is how do I protect the wealth Sumika has built?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing someone in my life who's going to reduce on my work schedules, who's going to feel entitled on the things that have been built with the team, who's going to work around with swag that my boyfriend owns these, maybe comes at the company, says, you guys don't even say anything. I think about all those things and I'm like,
Live with Simon Chris Makanga. Our special guest tonight is an amazing gentleman. He's a mentor, a leader, a life coach, very young at age, but doing something very amazing. We're going to dig deeper into his life and get to understand what kind of wisdom is that he carries, which enables him to do what he does. Cirus Sumika.
Yes, Chris.
Thanks for the good job you're doing.
Thank you, Chris.
It's not an easy thing for anyone to come straight from the university and don't look for a job, but rather create something for other people to benefit from. How did you do it?
I started Sumik when I was at the university. It was in my first year, second semester. And all that comes when we are in class and the lecturer says, we're in a programming class. So the lecturer says the programming you have studied, it can only be useful if you solve a problem with it in the community. So I was like, okay, this is interesting now. So I think of a problem I had faced. I had faced a challenge with finding where to stay when I was coming at the university. Moving around all the hostels, they are all filled up. So they told me you are late. And the cohort was August intake, but we came in June. So I was like, I'm coming in June to book a hostel. We are starting in August, but the hostels are filled up. And I didn't know about this. So I was like, I think if we have an online platform that can tell someone that this space is filled up, this hostel is filled up, here you have space, it is easy. So that's what I start with, and that prompted Sumika IT Solutions to be registered, because upon wanting to do business with the landlords, they are like, we only do with legal people. So you have to register. So lucky enough, when I go to URSB to register, I was registering a company. You have to be minimum of 21 years. I think.
How old were you then?
I was just 21 years.
Still at campus?
Yeah, still at campus. I was just 21 years. It was in 2019. And we register Faster General Partnership, Sumika IT Solutions.
Who was advising you then?
To me, I would say I didn't have an advisor at that time. I was this guy who had started saving as early as senior 3. When I was 16, I had my first bank account. So as I was a leader, I used to go make research, read magazines, watch news, try to read things that are changing the world. So I was kind of informed in that way. I used to read about the billionaires. And I used to think that all the money they have, their net worth is the money they have in the bank. So I was like, I need to have the bank account fast.
How old were you then?
I was around 16. So I create my bank account fast in the holidays. My remaining pocket money balance from office could take it to the bank. So when I reached university, going to RSB, telling me this is how much you need, I had some backup.
What was inspiring you to think like that?
My elder brothers, most of them left home at senior 6 vac. So it was me who was still home even at university. And most of them started their life early as senior 6 vac to be on their own. They spent the entire university life by themselves.
How would you describe your childhood background?
Well, my childhood background, I would say it was more of a lot of guidance from my mom, because part of the experience in business, I worked with my mom for over 8 years. So my mom had a retail and wholesale shop at the landing site. So since my elder brothers had left home earlier.
Which landing site?
Kasenyi landing site. Okay. So since my brothers had left home earlier, I was like the elder one. So come to the shop, manage the shop. She's not around. She's sick. She's in other engagements. You're the ones to be in charge. Then also some other properties at home. Go manage here. Go visit this site. Like everything, like me all the time. So, and of course, when you do wrong, of course, she will have to penalize you. So you have to make sure that you do things right. So there's a lot of learning I got in the childhood.
Did you grow up with your father?
I did grow up with my father, but it was my mom who was more aggressive.
Where is your father?
my father, we used to stay with dad too. We used to stay with my father too, but it was mom.
What do you make of that?
I think for me, one thing I learned about families, it's if maybe the father is very tough, the mom may not be tough. If the mom is very tough, the dad may not be tough. So that was the case.
So what kind of man are you?
I think for me, I'm a tough, soft man.
Tough, soft man.
Yeah.
Meaning you tolerate pain, you give up easily, you're angry.
No, I would say
you forgive fast.
Okay, I would say I'm relentless in nature, and I would say that I'm very, very, very resilient, because how I can describe my resiliency, the business life has not been easy, because along the way we stopped working in Sumik a little bit because things were not nice. The hostel system didn't work out. We work somewhere else. Then they host us out, like they kick us out of the business. We repeat again. And then...
How old did you hold it?
Sorry?
How old did you hold the hostel? Was it an application?
Yeah, it was an application.
You built it?
We built it.
And tested it?
Tested it. We had an MVP on the market.
Why did you kill it?
We didn't kill it. The situations killed it. 2019 was a time when we were approaching the COVID times. I think this site starts around in 2020, but in March. So when they put the lockdown, there was no business. So during the lockdown, some of us had to stay behind. Yeah. So in the lockdown, we start another business for selling things online with other colleagues. And then we risk our lives in the market trying to figure out things during COVID when others are in the lockdown. But as the business was trying to flourish a little bit, conflict of interest comes, then they kick us out, then we have to start again. Some of the partners we were working with. Yeah. And then that's the same time I told you I wanted independence early. So I had left home. And my mom was straight clear that, Cyrus, if you don't come back to work in the family businesses, you pay yourself tuition, you pay yourself hostel.
As a threat for you to go back home.
Exactly. So I told my mom these things would work. And here comes things that are not working out. You are like in total shit. You can't go back home to explain. You have exams. You're at university. Then you are like, I wish I had just remained like a normal college or university kid. I wish I didn't try all these things because they were very messy at that time. But honestly speaking, I reflected onto my life and I was like, Cyrus, there is no turning back now. You can't go back and explain this. The only thing you can do is to move forward. You either die or you move forward.
So that's now you lost your application?
Yeah, the application died. The other business also died because when we left, we failed to agree. We had to leave the business and start over again.
What did you learn from that?
Well, lesson number one, things are not the way we think they are.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you're starting stuff or when you're starting anything, you are like, it's going to work. Like, you are like, I'm going to do this step, I'm here. Yeah, so things they're not the way we think they are. That's one. Then number two, another lesson I learned is you have to be dynamic in nature. When any forces come, you also have to rethink. So if the wind is blowing this side and you are on the sea, and you have to know now, do I have to change the direction? So you have to be in that kind of manner.
And I love that. And I love what you say, that it's always good to keep a positive mind. And one of the things that limit us from thinking exactly how you're thinking and how you elevated yourself from the downfall and picked yourself up and thought like, no, this is just a simple downfall. I must get up and get moving. A person who thinks like that must always have a sober mind. What limits us most of the times from thinking like that is probably when we go into depression. What that disease does, it closes your creativity mind, because I believe you believe in the Bible.
Sure.
God gave us the ability to create and recreate.
Sure.
So what you're doing, you're thinking that this is just a simple downfall. I must get out and keep building. It's you creating. It's your mind creating. So how do you look for your clients?
Well, I would say we have highly leveraged the internet. We have leveraged the internet in terms of social media, in terms of our online sites, to see that we position ourselves into the eyes of our clients. And we do this, we have a very strong online team. We call it the Sumika Online Force, responsible for pushing the brand everywhere. But not only that, we have also been very aggressive to see that we feature on different awards, on different international events to be seen.
How old?
How old? Let me say 5 years, if you calculate 2019.
I'll come back to how you made it to your second birthday. But one of the greater things that you've learned in the 5 years are some skills that you're extending to other companies.
Sure.
One, you're mentoring these companies that are starting up. And there is a saying in business that a sale begins when a client says no. And these are companies that are bringing up new products on the market. They are meeting different clients who tell them no, no. Some end up giving up. When you meet them and they tell you, we are meeting clients, but they're telling us no. What do you tell them?
Well, I think to me, when a client says no, it ideally means you need to go back and revise either your product or your service. And then you ask yourself, if I go back into their eyes again, how do I scope them? And this time around, they're like, okay. They give it a second thought. Then also what I tell them that you may have a very nice product, a nice service, but you are taking it to the wrong person. Because I also give them an example. How we have managed to sustain in business. We realized that in Uganda, there are few SMEs that would demand for our services. So we said we need to position ourselves globally. So from the word go, we defined Sumik IT Solutions as Africa's digital transformation solutions provider. Now, any Indian who wants to come in Africa is going to search for African digital transformation companies. Sumik is going to come. So they're going to ask for partnership. Can we partner with you?
So who are your clients? Are they the international clients or the Ugandans?
In Uganda, we have a lot to do in terms of people adapting technology. You find a very big company, they have the money, but they don't believe in technology.
They don't believe or they don't trust?
I think they don't trust, maybe. Because you find a very nice company and you look at, they don't have a site, their things are not automated. But it's not that they don't have the money. to make the money. But literally, maybe the people who head there, maybe they are of the old generation. They have made their money without technology, and it will be very hard for them to understand how all these things are working.
So what do you do after that?
So
actually, that's a no. I was talking about.
That's a no. So now that's where we tell ourselves that, you know what, technology in Uganda can be the same. I remember I was telling you that how we program in Uganda is the same way they program all over the world.
And that's why I wanted to know, one of the other, you have a couple of talents, by the way, and a couple of skills that you're doing. The other one is you are public speaker.
Yeah, sure.
You also train people to speak.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
Well,
I heard you know how to speak. What do you tell them?
I think, to me, where the public speaking comes in, I think it is inborn. I've told you I've been a leader since. There's no top position I didn't hold in my high school. I started from the lowest, and I was on the highest boom. When I joined university, they used to tell us that when you go to university, you have to put in money like the MPs, you have to put cars, the rallies. And I was like, I don't have money to spend into those things, but I want to lead. So I said, maybe I'll be a minister, or maybe I'll be a GRC to represent my faculty. Indeed, I did become a GRC for my constituency at university. But for me, I am very strategic in how I do things. I always foresee. My first time I come to class, make sure I sit in front. I make sure whoever has influence is my friend, and I make sure that when they ask anything, always my hand is up, and I make sure that I give the right answer. I make sure that I know things earlier than anyone. If they're saying this, I've already interacted with it, so I explain. So there, you attract people to follow you, and you start to be influential. So when I stand and I say, I need this position.
Sumika.
Yes.
You're making me hard to understand you. What you're saying, I have been there.
Yeah.
I have been in high school. I have been at the university. We've lived almost in the same society, same environments. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just the environment that changes.
Sure.
You don't tell me that you're that too good to be true. Honestly speaking, Sumika. Whenever they ask a question, you're the first person to raise up your hand.
Yeah.
You sit in front.
Yeah.
You associate with the wisest.
Yeah. I need people who have influence.
Why were you doing all that?
Now, the strategy is like this. If I needed a position, for example, for GRC, but I knew that the people who would compete and win have to be influential. People have to be admiring them. These people have to be either wise or they kind of have some fame in class. So you befriend those first and you tell them your agenda earlier. By the way, I want to be this position. What do you think? They're like, oh yeah, it is good. So now you ask yourself, which other added advantage do I have that they don't have? I grasp class things faster than anyone, and I make research earlier. So if they ask a question and everybody is looking at guys, my hand is up and I give the right answer.
Even in biology and chemistry.
Now this was at high school. Sorry, this was at university. In high school, most of my positions I was never opposed.
Why do you think it was like that?
One, I was always smart. I was among the smartest boys in school.
Oh, you're just ahead of them?
No.
Or smart in terms of looks?
Smart in terms of dressing, tucking in, always ironed very well, nice shoe.
It shows that you haven't changed a lot.
I was always smart.
You haven't changed a lot. Yeah, I can see.
So the haircut on point, that was number one strategy. Number two, I used to be among the top 10 in class. So most of my friends are those that were top 5 because me, I'm on top 10. So all same strategy I was using this side. All the intelligent people, I made sure that they are my friends. Because I know that those people, if they stand, they have higher chances.
So currently, who are your top 5? Can you mention them by name right now?
Top 5 where?
Friends.
Top 5 friends right now. Okay, top
By
5
name.
by name. Okay. Top 5 friends. I have I have Ronald. I have Olive.
By full name. Your top 5 you have named by name.
Okay. Some their names are kind of hard. Okay. My top 5 friends, Olive Nankonyoli, Ronald Baynard, Douglas Kawekwa. Then we have, I have Faith Abba. I have, oh my God.
Okay. Do you feel like you're in safe hands when you look at your top 5? Do you feel like you're in safe hands?
Yeah.
Why I'm asking, I always talk about mental health. It's so real. And why we always get dipped so much into depression and mental illness is that sometimes we don't utilize our best 5. Sometimes we don't have them.
True.
I'm glad at least you mentioned 3 or 4. even if there were 2, that would be okay.
Yeah.
Because these are people that keep us going. That every time, like an entrepreneur, first you lose all the friends.
Yep.
Then when you start to bring out your head, they start to come.
Perfect.
There's a Luganda saying that ibagala alina.
Yeah, that's it. Can't change.
So that's the journey of an entrepreneur. And those are the people that sometimes we lean back or fletch back. Like, they're not a big
Yeah, true.
business, 3 months, we are not making money.
Yeah.
That is a person that needs to listen to all that trash. You offload as they are receiving. At the end, you're having a focused mind. And most times, you also a detoxifier to them because they speak to you.
Yeah, true.
So now being a life coach, a mentor, a businessman, a leader, how do you do all these things?
Well, one of the things I invested in is a team. That's number one. We have what we call the Sume culture. And I learned that, of course, you have to be a leader who has people who follow you. You have to have a team. And a couple of things I've not done them alone. And in this business life, I've always moved with a team. I customize my team. I identify you or you find me. Maybe I can identify you. That's one way. And I call you on the team. If I don't, you identify me and you come and you bring yourself. Or someone brings you. So when you come or when you're brought, I tell you how I work. And I tell you the vision. I tell you how the future can look like. But number one, I first understand what you're good at, what you like, where you come from, the things you like, because I want to know you so as if I'm to give you anything, I know that you have capacity.
Oh, that's how you source for your clients. You're so smart.
So I first get to know you because I'm going to customize you to the Sumik way now.
Do you have a price tag for building an application?
Yeah, we have. Okay, minimum for a mobile application, both Android and iOS, we can go for 20K USD.
How long does it take for that person to recover that money in Uganda?
No, by the time someone comes to demand for a mobile application, they're on a certain level. Because when you come...
In terms of finances?
Not only in terms of finances, also in terms of growth and also market size.
So what if it's a startup?
A startup, now for us, this is what we tell you. When you come when you're a startup and you're asking for a mobile application, we tell you the truth. You don't need a mobile application as a startup. All you need is, how do I craft my idea so as I first pilot it? There's no way, even though you are going to invest like 30 million, when you don't have a proof, sometimes we call it, you don't have the market proof that the thing is going to make money. We always tell the startups that first pilot. You can pilot with maybe a web-based system, which is kind of cheaper.
Sumika, right?
Yeah.
Boss, we are
It's okay.
So, one of the limitations as to why some businesses don't make it to the second, or sometimes even first birthday, or third birthday out of research is one, most entrepreneurs fail to control a couple of things like temptations, jealous, envy. But I'm curious to know from you. You're not married that you have a woman who's going to tame you or tame your egos. How would you deal with the temptation of women?
Today, one of the greatest fears I have is how do I protect the wealth Sumika's built? And that means that the person I'm going to select to be my wife, my girlfriend, will answer that question right or wrongly.
Is that the reason why you want to marry?
No. That's how I reduce on the temptations. I don't just bring anyone in my life because I know what I've gone through to build what I've built with the team. Bringing someone in my life who's going to reduce on my work schedules, who is going to feel entitled on the things that have been built with the team, who's going to work around with swag that my boyfriend owns these, maybe comes at the company, says, you guys don't even say anything. I think about all those things and I'm like, I'm like, no.
What if you get one? What if you get one? You get a sheep,
Okay.
dressed in the skin of a lion. Then later you thought you're marrying a lioness. You've gotten a lioness that is going to manage all this. But then later you get to realize, man, it's something different.
Yeah,
And that brings me to wanting to know, how do you deal with disappointments in business?
business. Well, disappointments in business are very, very inevitable. But when they come, the best you can do is what lessons you learn from them. For me, I'll tell you the truth, Chris. Sumika has been in position to grow because of the very many challenges. There are people we thought that were supporting us, yet they were taking advantage of us. And when we learned that, we looked at our level and saying, the best we can do is to walk away. Because if they had managed to do this, they may even have capacity to stab us again. So the best is to walk away smoothly and gently and find where there is peace. Looking for people who can support you genuinely.
And who are those people? Who's giving you a helping hand?
Well, there are people who are godly sent. Yeah, there are those people in life.
You believe in God?
I believe in God. Even me, I've helped people without any interest.
You talk of that, Sumika. Talk of that.
Yeah.
I usually tell my peers that and friends and colleagues that the blessing we are looking for, my friend, it doesn't just fall like manna. Manna used to fall from heaven.
Yes.
No. The blessing we are looking for, we have to look for it.
Exactly.
And sometimes it requires us to bless other people so that we get back
the favor
the favor comes back to us. Why are you working, Sumika?
Where am I working? I think to me, I love what I do. That's number one. And I'm working to see that I create change, but long-lasting change. I create a very long-lasting legacy. And I always tell my team that for me, God forbid, if God decides to call me today, you must be in position to move this. Because that would be my happiness forever.
How old are you? For you not to fear death.
I almost died. I say I resurrected. I'm 26.
What happened?
But I think I almost died. I wanted to die one time when I was in very big problems. And why I wanted to die was, I was like, I wish I die an entrepreneur, and people say he died, but he died trying.
Why did you want to die? You had some suicide ideations?
The situation was very, very tough. Though I explained to you, like, you have your family even don't know what you are going through. All your friends have gone, your girlfriend has gone because
Sumika,
she has known that
share
things...
for me that picture. Not only me, but everybody who's going to watch this. Share for me that picture.
It's very, very bad because it can even make me shed tears.
Please, no worries. A life coach always tells people, cry. Let it come. No. Please.
Yeah, but...
choose to blow some steam here.
I would say this is how we come. Let's say, Chris, you have an idea, but you have been stuck with it for like 4 years. And then somebody tells you there's some genius boy there. He makes magic happen. If you bring him on your team, things are going to work. So Chris looks for Cirus. And they say, I've heard a lot about you, and this is what I'm building, but things have refused to work out for so long. You tell him I've been building this thing and was almost bringing it out with the team. But I don't know how we are going to work together. So he says, okay, I don't have much, but we can be teammates. Then I tell him, if we be teammates, what I understand, we have to be shareholders. Did you register this? He's like, yeah. I'd say, so where are my shares? It was like, you'll have 10% shares. So he said, okay, but me, I work with my team. So I bring my team on board, we start to work. We move things from 0. Okay, let's say not 0, maybe from 5 to like 80. And everybody is talking about this. And this is why I take the decision to fully leave home. Mama says, Cirus, that direction you have taken, make sure you make the money. So during COVID, they closed public transport. I could foot from my hostel to that side of Chireka, to and from. Then, as the lockdown was kind of ceasing, life was coming out. People had known about the business. So, and then that's where we are going to do now almost our finals. That's where people try to chase us out of the business. We had demands.
And there's no tuition?
No tuition. Hostel is still demanding.
So what were you thinking then? How did the suicide ideations come in? How did you want to lose your life?
For me, I wanted the sacrifice to be worth it. We wanted to remain in business. Of course, I knew that the business would be profitable because we had sticked in it and juggled our life, and there was life. And all we wanted is our shares, but things turned out to be even bringing in lawyers. I start to look for if these people report you to a legal firm that they gave you internship. You are an internship student, and then
yet you are the one that built the company.
Perfect.
So how did you walk out from that?
Just know I think by the grace of God, because there are also, as I said, there are destiny helpers. There are people who had the story, they knew the truth, they came to fight for us. But they didn't know about many things. Some of them thought that my family was still supporting me. And that's the time we are almost going in exams, no tuition, no what. Then there are people now who were friends who knew these people. They also start to bring different cases, these fights with police. Now police has come in, now this, now they are looking for Cirus, now this. Then my girlfriend quits.
Actually, your story speaks too much of a true definition of a never give up. You know, when they tell you never give up, I hear you motivational speakers say those things. Never give up. Do you know those people don't understand those things? Yeah. Even personally. When I used to hear things, never give up, never give up. But that statement never makes sense until you look back and you're like, oh, it's because I never gave up. And that's a true definition of your story. From how you've been juggling things from high school, university, at 23 men, you're being summoned in courts. I'm glad you've picked yourself up and you're moving forward. And I hope it's the same language that you're speaking to the startup companies.
Yeah.
What keeps you busy on a Monday?
On the Monday? What keeps me busy on the Monday is there can be a lot waiting on my desk in terms of approvals, in terms of emails with our international clients. You have to keep the communication moving. Then the planning of the entire week, what we get out of this week, making sure that the whole team is motivated. The motivation has to start on a Monday, so as it moves throughout the entire week.
At 26, you are leading a team of 12.
Okay, yeah.
And they live a happily motivated life.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm curious to understand, and I will say this in Luganda, which Kolotia.
I think if you remember how I told you how these people come, most of them, at least when they track their life, how they came and where they are now, there's personal growth. So that only is another value they see. Because for me, I tell them that it's not only you coming to work at Sumik, but what about you? What are you learning from Cirus as an individual? As Cirus goes up the ladder, I'm asking myself, I also, because I also have to exhibit leadership. How do I elevate my staff? In my old staff I had, I told them, I want to be a billionaire. And if you're not willing to be a billionaire, you're going to walk out right now.
Did anyone walk out?
They didn't. So I told them that now, if you are still in the room, you have to know how do billionaires become billionaires. A lot of sacrifice, a lot of resilience, a lot of hard work, research, commitment. There is no shortcut.
Actually, I think I even had the same thing with my previous guest, that the difference between the successful people and the poor or the struggling people, I will sum up what he just talked about right now, is discipline.
Sure.
Once a village champion, you'll always be a village champion.
Sure.
You must be willing to learn.
Yeah, true.
You must break yourself. You must be willing to be mentored. And I'm curious to understand, who is mentoring you?
Yeah, right. Today I have a mentor. It's called Emmanuel Mugabe. You know him?
Think about him.
Today
What's come across his book?
Yeah, that man. The North Star something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Internationally?
Well, internationally, I don't have somebody I talk to, but there are people I look up to. I think the first one I've always looked up to is Mark Zuckerberg. The reason is establishing whatever I did at university. And up to now it is still around. So it highly gives me a belief that when you are still a student at university or college, you can change the world. So that was always in my mind from high school to university. And those are some of the reasons I never used to give up. I was like, people have done it at school and they have become successful. So that is one of them. Then also some other people like Dangote. Why I like Dangote is you already have a rich family background, but you're very hardworking. Now that tells me is, Cyrus, if someone has a very rich background and they're very hardworking, whom are you not to work hard? If you don't
Now I see why you relate. Yeah, I can see how you're building that kind of a team and how you're relating with them, leading as with a carrot in your hands. Because I remember it was one of the, I think 2 or 3 years ago, during the International Labour Day, Dangote tweeted, but then it was still called Twitter. He said, my biggest asset is not the factories, the money in the bank, the buildings, HR, human resource. And he uploaded them. I remember that day, he paid them 3 months ahead.
Wow.
He got that money of 3 months ahead and gave it to them as a token of appreciation.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're following the right people.
Yeah, so those people, they tell you a lot, and sometimes people think you to have a role model, a mentor, you have to be talking to them. But those who have listened to people like Vusi, they'll tell you that their minds have changed. Yeah, so sometimes...
Are you also looking towards that direction?
Of Vusi?
Of Vusi? You want to move around the continent and around the world, talking to entrepreneurs?
Yeah, sure, I will move around. I will move around the world speaking.
What steps are you taking?
Steps I'm taking
towards that direction.
I've already started.
You're kidding me.
I've in like 2 months, I've spoken to Nabisunsa Girls Orchard International School. I've spoken to some other events as a guest speaker. I've been invited to speak at WordPress event in Lila, WordCamp as a speaker as well.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's very, very motivating, and like, you know, when I decided this journey, in the past I used to call myself founder, CEO. I said, I'm going to stop these things. I said, I'm going to stop these things.
I think we have so many CEOs and founders. So what do you call yourself?
So I call myself a techpreneur, a mentor, writer, and speaker. 4 things.
I think that we share the same. Because I hate calling myself CEO to founder. I'm a team lead.
Yeah, sure. So I said now I'm going to go on a journey. And I was highly helped by my mentor, Emmanuel. Yeah, Mugabe. Yeah. And we sat down and we realized that there is a lot that this population wants, especially the Ugandan population. Reading papers showing that 50% are below the age of 17 made it more valid. That there is a lot, based from my experience, there is a lot in terms, if you want to create impact, sometimes you don't need to give these people money. Go talk to them. How you crafted and forged out life to where you are. Because the team, this side, is up and running, doing stuff. Things are moving. It's not that if I am away, things stop moving.
You're right.
They keep moving. Yeah. So I said I think I'll embark on a journey of just being a techpreneur, a mentor, a writer, and a speaker, and we developed that platform for specifically that, cirissumika.com. Then we start to ask ourselves, where do we start from speaking?
So what do you tell them?
So when we started, well, I always resonate with my audience. That's the first thing. If they're high school students, I know what they like most and what they want to hear. And I'm glad that I didn't spend my high school life in a bad way.
Actually, I started saving money. For people who know me back then in high school, Ubiri, they knew me as Chris Telecom because I used to sell phones. And my market was at Lubaga Girls, Mengo, all the Kampala, Lubiri, all the schools, Kasek, the schools around the central. So I used to sell and make money, save. But then what killed me was what we call financial excitement. I got the money. After Form 6, I have plenty of money. Then I have the time. I have nothing to do. I got financially excited. And I blew out the money. How do we deal with that in business? From your experience as a business coach, a mentor, person with 5 years of experience in business, how do we deal with excitement?
I think for excitement, this is how we can deal with it. You have to know that in business, there are rainy days and sunny days.
Okay.
That's number one. If today you make 10 million, tomorrow you may make 2 million. The other day you may make 500,000. All days are not the same. So that tells you that you have to ask yourself, how do I survive in the rainy days? So there should be a backup. In most cases, when we are talking about financials, in terms of saving, we tell people that there's what we call an emergency fund.
In business,
emergency fund. In somebody has come up, a regulator has come up, this has come up, or they're charging you a fine, then you start calling people. There should be an emergency fund. So that emergency fund helps you to bail you out in those unforeseen circumstances, rainy days. So when you get some good money, in most cases also to maintain the discipline, make sure you have less cash. As a person who is in business, make sure that you channel all the money to go in the bank. Even on mobile money, if you have much, you start paying online things. This girlfriend has called you, I need data, you send them 50, you buy them this. Try to reduce the money around you so as it's maybe in the bank, because the temptations are small. Now for us who have like company accounts, there is a procedure of getting that money, yet it is a company money or your money. The signatories, or either write a check. There is a process. So it is, when the money is there, it is kind of protected because money is very tempting. So you only keep the money which you need. And now when you have small money in your pocket, you are forced to spend it wisely. You are like, if I spend all this, I'll have less transport. I'll have...
In a nutshell, you need to have a calculator in your mind.
Yeah.
And I like what I read from Essentialism. Said that learn how to say no. And as a young entrepreneur, what I've come to learn is that you cannot be everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
And the people who are corporates who earn salaries will never understand this. They will invite you for the event, and you have to open your calculator. You have to open your to-do lists, your schedule list, and you're like, honestly speaking, on a Saturday I have a business meeting with Sumika, and I'm gonna spend about 200,000 on that event. As a businessman, that's a wrong decision if I go to the event. But I'd rather come and have a business meeting with you to grow my business.
Sure.
So people will not understand that as an entrepreneur, you cannot be everywhere.
That's true.
And some deals, and actually essentialism also teaches us that however juicy the deal might be, learn how to say no.
Yeah, sure.
Learn how to say no. And focus on your career. Because it can be a diversion.
Very true. It can be so sweet, yet someone is diverting.
How worth is your business?
How worth? Net worth of our company?
Yes. Remember, you're 26.
Well, the right evaluation of our company, I'm not so sure.
Roughly.
Let's say maybe maybe 200,000 US dollars.
Let's speak Ugandan shillings to me.
I like speaking in dollars because
I know, but you're business people. So you want to attract dollars.
You see, we also envision ourselves as Africa's digital transformation solution providers. So people outside you don't send them in UGX.
You speak in a universal currency.
Exactly. You have to speak in a universal. And as also they are ranking you on Forbes, they don't put UGX.
I hear you.
UGX, you have to speak very many zeros and so on and dots.
So you work 200?
Let's say maybe 200K.
Not bad.
Around,
Not really. Not even bad. You are doing well.
Let's say maybe 200K.
Your projection in the next 5 years?
Well, we in the next 5 years, if maybe we can move that to a half $500,000 for starters, or maybe close to $1 million. Yeah.
So Cirus, I didn't want to call you by that name. I wanted to stick to that name, Sumika. Sumik, because it makes a little bit of more connection with me and you than Cirus.
Yeah.
So it's been a great conversation.
Wow.
Sitting with you and speak about business in favor of so many people who are going to be watching this.
Wow.
But I would love you to look into that camera and speak to the startups or someone who is still in the ideation process. What should they do?
Well, to the startups there or any aspiring entrepreneur, I think the first thing you need to do is find the right spaces. That's the first thing. You need to be in the right spaces of like-minded individuals, because these are people who are going to motivate you, or these are people who understand the problems you are facing. And these are people who are going to give you encouragement on what you are doing. You learn a lot from them. So in that kind of space, there is more to discover. So I think you may ask yourself, where are those spaces? Try to look around the different hubs. These hubs are doing great work for you. If you're from ideation, you are maybe onto accelerator, incubation stage, these hubs will help you. So there are free hubs like the National ICT Innovation Hub. It's a free hub. You don't pay any money. There are also other hubs around the country. You can consider visiting them. It is good to create with like-minded individuals. And I think that would be for starters. We cannot give them many things. They may forget them. But if you do that first, the rest you find them along in that space.
How did you get to the hub?
I got to the hub when they hosted an event here, and it was a Huawei event. I had participated online, and we are the second best, so we are coming to get our certificates in the auditorium. So when I land here, I find my OB at the reception. I tell him, "You're a bad man. You are in a space where I'm supposed to be, and you are working at the reception, and you have never told me about it, and every day you see my statuses." But I told him, "You know what? I'm not going to offend you for that. You have to make sure that I come here."
So you came to pick an award and saw an opportunity.
That's it.
You remind me of the two Americans who traveled by train to India. Two great friends, just like you and me, are great friends. We say, "Man, can't we go to India?" There's a train which goes to India, but we don't have any single penny. So they get to the tail of the train. Whenever the train stops, they get off. It starts, they go until they went to India. So reaching there, one of the guys was so excited. The place is beautiful, and the other colleagues saw so many people barefoot, and he saw an opportunity. And he was an artist.
Wow.
So he went back and designed the cheapest shoe.
Wow.
And he went to a factory in the US, and he said, "Look, many people in India don't have shoes."
Yeah.
So he gave the factory guy the design. They manufactured the shoe, and they took back the shoes. More like Nigina. And the guy is now a billionaire.
Wow, he must be.
So you came to the hub to pick an award.
Yeah.
And you saw an opportunity.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not leaving this place.
You're going somewhere. Thank you so much, Mr. Sumik.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you in the next 5 years when you're $500,000 US.
Yeah, sure.
I pray and Pray that God gives you the grace,
Amen.
the favor, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding
Amen.
to guide you and your team
Yes.
so that you go and drive towards that.
Amen.
Friends, thank you so much. You've been such an amazing audience right from the genesis of this conversation up to now that I'm going to be saying bye-bye to you. But remember, go and subscribe, like, share, and comment. May the good Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you. Until we meet in another episode, for now, it's a bye-bye.